Okay, welcome to Super Formula everybody for round one of the second season. This is a league owned by Tailfire V2, and as the name states, it uses cars from the Japanese Super Formula Championship. For round one, we have Lego on pole, we have Louis second, Phantom third, Zatanius in fourth, Nitrous fifth, Jack sixth, Chams in seventh, Bing Bong eighth, ninth is an opening grid slot. F Josh is 11th, Rikes is 12th, Terminator 13th, Zenvote 14th, Rabbit 15th. Duskier decided to not qualify and will start in 16th position. The lights are preparing to go on soon. Just waiting for the lights to go on for the first round of Season 2. How this championship works, for a reminder of those who do not know, it is a two-race format with a sprint and feature race. The sprint race does not have pit stops, whereas the feature race has pit stops. Lights out, and Louis has a great start. On the right-hand side, Lego nearly getting jumped off the start. Louis and Lego inside of each other. Everyone going into turn 2. Dusky has already made up a position on Rabbit. Josh and Chams inside of each other. And a mistake from somebody in the middle. Rabbit continuing to lose time. And Duskier charging through the field. He's made up 7 positions off of the start. Lego continues to lead on the opening lap. And Louis in second, but very, very close behind. Lego has a bit of a dodgy Degna 2 there, letting Louis into the lead. Louis through the hairpin. Equal exits, Lego just a little bit better. For now, Louis is just about in the lead, but they're going to continue switching over down this back straight. Louis has a very good spoon. Lego running a bit wide. Nearly hitting the inside wall, but he manages to get the exit on Louis. Duskier up to P7. Zatanius in fourth, defending from Nitrous and Bing Bong. And Louis inside of Lego now. Into the final chicane. And Louis makes an error hitting the inside wall. That gives Lego a very good opportunity to run away, because now his closest rival has made an error, dusking it up into P6 on the start. Lego continues to lead on the second lap of the sprint race. Suzuka's a bit of a challenging circuit. We raced here last season. It was round 1 and the final round of the championship, and we return here once again. Corner couples very deadly around here. If you hit them, you will go for a flip. Lego gapping Phantom just a little bit. Phantom has a bit of a gap to Zatanius, and then you've got a massive group. Dusky getting them both onto the podium for Dusky. Bing Bong, Zatanius and Nitrous all inside of each other. Dusky gets just about a good enough exit. 4 cars fighting for that third position, although it's likely with Dusky's pace he will accelerate away. Oh, Dusky nearly hits the inside wall, continuing to catch, however, the front 2. Zatanius just about holding on to 4th position. Into the last chicane for the second time this race. The front 3 take it very, very nicely. Dusky catching just a little bit again. Lego continues to lead. His gap to Phantom is now 1 second. Duskier within 1.5 seconds of the leader. The field is still really, really close, with the likes of Jack and Josh only 5 seconds back on Lego. Through the uphill chicanes, the S's. Phantom not quite getting the exit out of the corners, and Dusky just catching to the back of him lap by lap. Through Degno again. Zitanius has lost a couple of positions to Nitrous and Bing Bong. Bing Bong with a very, very good exit in Degno 2. He will get P4. Phantom is a little too slow. He's actually allowing Bing Bong and Nitrous to catch him up. Dusky now up to P2. He only has to overtake Lego now. Phantom trying to claw onto the back of Dusky. Can't quite do it. Into the last chicane, Dusky running a little bit deep into it, loses a bit of time. Phantom now back on the rear of him. There isn't really much strategy to the race, it's merely flat out from start to finish. The gap's about the same from the leaders. 2 seconds. Phantom running very wide. That's going to compromise them through the next set of corners. Dusky gains about half a second. Nitrous makes an error. Zenvo battling with Nitrous now. Nitrous back ahead of Zenvo after his error. Degnato and Nitrous very deep. He barely took the corner there. He basically just used the wall to turn him. Through the hairpin. Everyone's spaced out a little bit now. Rikes and Cham's having a bit of a battle. But other than that, everyone's sort of in their own little bubbles at this point. Rikes running very wide. Cham's looking there. Can't quite do it yet. Everyone very close, but nobody's making any particular moves at the moment. Josh just clinging onto the back of them. Jack seems to have made a bit of an error, and he's dropped back now with Rabbit. Dusky are closing in on Lego. Through first couple corners. Lego runs very deep into those S's, so Tom's going to gain just a little bit more time once again. Very close, both of them, to the inside there. Dusky now within about half a second of Lego. They both take the hairpin reasonably well. Lego and Dusky have now gapped P3 by about 2 or 3 seconds. At this point, you're going to have two groups of Lego and Dusky and Phantom all the way down to Jack. Through 130R into the final chicane. Both of them cutting it very close. Dusky nearly hitting that inside wall, separating the pits to the main circuit. 3/10 is the gap from Lego to Dusky for the lead. 7 laps to go. Up the S's. Lego runs very deep. Dusky just keeping it nice and planted. Both of them deep. Lego very, very wide. Dusky manages to cling onto the grass to drag him through it. The gap is now about a tenth. Down Degner 1. Into Degner 2. Dusky takes it very quick. Dusky into the lead for now. Into the hairpin. Lego deep. Lego gets an exit. They are about the same gap as they were entering into it. Nitrous and Louis very close. Zetanis and Bing Bong are very close. Everyone's at the moment formed their own little pack. Reaching the 50% way in the race. Into the final chicane. Lego seems to be pushing very hard, getting very close to making an error there. The gap is now 4 tenths in Dusky's favour. Dusky very close to that corner cut wall there. Doesn't want to play it too risky. He's got the lead now. He doesn't need to push it too hard. Into the Degners once again. Dusky will now be visibly ahead of Lego, even on Lego's screen. So Lego will now have a target. Lego, very good hairpin there. Oh, Lego hits a bump on the on the back straight. That weaves him a bit, and he's lost about half a tenth there to a tenth. And Dusky maintains the lead on to lap number 8. 7 completed. 5 to go. The gap is 7 tenths. Dusky makes an error and allows Lego back into the lead. Or Dusky immediately takes it back. Rabbit having some technical problems at the moment with his keyboard. Seems like his keyboard has run out of battery, so he is now currently stationary. Lego gets the lead back briefly. Lego back in the lead. Once again back into the last chicane. Oh, very risky from both of them. Bing Bong Louie and Zatanius all battling for P number 4. The gap is just 3 tenths. battle is still going on. Louis and Bing Bong inside of each other. Bing Bong just taking a bit of a better line through Degnato. Rabbit is now a lap down after his technical problems. Still going at it. Dusky is still all over the back of Lego. He got the lead, but made a couple of errors that just put him back. With the pace of these two, the winner will probably be determined by those who makes the most errors. So currently we have a battle for the lead and a battle for P4. Phantom is currently on his own, although it looks like Bing Bong, Zatanius and Louis are all catching up to him a little bit. Three wide into the S's, into Sector 2. Bing Bong, for now, is P4. All of them playing up very close to that wall. Bing Bong, very good hairpin there. Zatanius losing out the most of all of them. Currently, there's a bit of a status quo between all of them. They're all incredibly close, but no real position changes currently occurring. Down the back straight, obviously, they're all going the same speed, so that you can't gain anything. Into the last chicane, they're all playing it very close. Dusky and Lego still side by side. Still side by side in the S's. They're holding it side by side, being very much helped by the fact that they aren't actually colliding. The collision scripts meaning they're not getting absolutely ruined. And Dusky will take the lead for now. 2 laps to go. All Dusky needs to do now is just simply drive with no errors. On to the last sector. 1 lap to go after this. Again, Phantom also just needs to drive with no errors in order to secure that podium position. Bing Bong defending 4th position from Zatanius. Louis with a bit of an error, hitting a couple of CC balls, has dropped back a little bit. Very, very close. It seems like Dusky might have this one in the end. Oh, and Dusky half flips off the curve as we were watching the battle for 4th. Dusky makes an error and loses the lead once again. And he's nearly half spun it once again into the S's. Into the Degnas. Lego now has the lead. We've already seen Dusky bottle it once from the lead. Will Lego do it? Meanwhile, 4P4, Bing Bong and Zetane's very close. Zetane's taking a very tight line there, but it seems to work. They're side by side going down into the long right, up into Spoon, through Spoon. Bing Bong taking a bit of a tighter entry. Zetane seems to be wanting to take a tighter exit. They both get about an equal run. Bing Bong still just about holding P4. Zetane's getting a little bit of a bump. Through 130R. Lego will take the win. Dusky with a very good Bing Bong through the final chicane. Side by side. Zetania's taking P4. They're inside of each other. Neck and neck. I think I can't tell who's got it. Zetanius gets it. I think that was Zetanius. And that was an incredible finish for P4. What a race that ended up being. Lego takes the win. Duskia in second after starting from the back of the grid. A very, very good race for Duskia. But a couple of errors right at the end just lost him the position. Phantom gets an easy third position. No real battles going on there. Bing Bong will lose out to Rob. Ignore the standings there. They are not correct. It was such a close finish, even the standings couldn't keep up. Libby will take 6th. An unfortunate race for him. A couple of errors. Chams in 7th. F. Josh in 8th. Jack in 9th. Rikes in 10th. Nitrous in 11th. Zenvo in 12th. And Terminator will be in 13th with Rabbit in 14th. That was a pretty incredible race there right at the end. Next up, a reverse grid for race 2, meaning Lego will start at the back and Rabbit will start at the front. Unfortunate for Rabbit, as much as he wasn't particularly quick. And we will be going into a little bit of an intermission until the beginning of race 2. So after round 1, race 1, Rabbit will be starting in P1, Terminator P2, Zenvo P3, Nitrous P4, Rikes P5, Jack P6, F Josh P7, Chams P8, Libby P9, Zotanius P10, Bing Bonk P11, Phantom P12, Dusky P13, and Lego Fan in 14th position. However, due to Duskier deciding he wants just a little bit more of a challenge, Duskier is going to be taking that 14th position. Unfortunately, we do end up losing Louis, it seems like, from this feature race. Now, the feature race, it does feature a mandatory pit stop. Like RRC, you must slow down for the pit line. Slow down to below 90 to avoid a penalty. Stop in your box, press the light, and drive on. The pit window, if it's anything like last season, will be from lap 2 until the second to last lap. You can't pit on lap 1, you can't pit on the last lap, but you can pit anywhere in between. Just waiting for the call to be given to start the lights. Louis is gone, unfortunately. He had a bit of a dodgy race 1, fighting 4th position, but a couple of hours right at the end of the race loses him out on that battle. At the end of that race, Duskier takes the fastest lap by 0.4 of a second. A very, very good lap there. Time has been reset for the next race. Everyone ready and gridded up for race 2 of Super Formula Season 2. So, the feature race. Race number 2 of round 1 is 18 laps with that before mentioned mandatory stop. It will come around to about a 25 to 27 minute race. It'll be interesting to see who out of Lego and Dusky will come out on top in the end. They were both very much the quickest of the field, and I expect to see both of them charge through the field very, very quickly. Here we go. Lights are activated. Building up to the start. And fairly equal start from the front to Terminator, just a little bit better. Jack and Nitrous inside of each other. Dusky already inside of Chams, jumping Lego off the start. Lego seemed to jump a little bit, had to stop to realign himself. Rabbit makes an error in turn number 3, going off. Lego off as well. He's flipped it. Duskia already up into 7th, side by side with Zatanius. Reichs, Nitrous, and Terminator all inside of each other. Phantom, Chams, and Bing Bong all inside of each other. Zenvo actually getting an early lead. I don't believe he actually competed in race 2, so this is his first entry. A little bit tight on the hairpin. Dusky up into 6th. Lego and Rabbit having a bit of a nightmare back down the field. Zenvo, however, an early lead. And Rabbit and Lego having a bit of a battle. That won't really be much of a challenge. The Lego will get straight past him. Rabbit crashing on the outside of Spoon. Jack and Terminator inside of each other. Nitrous also there. All three of them are battling for 2nd position. Dusky just sitting there waiting to try and take the position off of them. Into the chicane. All of them through it very safely. Dusky now up into 4th position. Side by side with the Reichs. Nitrous in 3rd. Dusky gets up to 3rd through to a little bit of lag on the start line. And everyone just getting a bit squirreled out the corner. Cham's a little bit wide. Dusky very laggy through there. Couldn't quite see. It looked like he hit the wall, but then came back to normal. Phantom up into 4th. Didn't actually see him there. He was inside of Nitrous that whole time. Jack into the lead now after Zenvo making a little bit of an error. A little bit of a slow corner there. So Jack into the lead. Very dodgy through there. Nearly tried to straight line the corner. Dusky up into P3. We knew he would be a deadly force in this race, and he's turned out to be. Up into 2nd after getting the exit on Zenvo. Side by side, going through the long right. Up into Spoon. Dusky on the outside. He will take the inside into here. Taking a very tight line there, which will work. Up into 2nd for Dusky. Nitrous absolutely launching it onto Phantom into 5th. Chams, Zatanius and Reichs all inside of each other. Going over the bridge into 130R. It's the final chicane. Will anyone make a mistake this time? Zenvo does. Zenvo loses a whole chunk of positions as a result of that error. Into the pits goes Zenvo. And he slows down nice and safely into the pits, 55.3. Dusky is in 2nd, Phantom in 3rd, Jack leading the way. Chams defending from Bing Bong and Zatanius. A very wide line there. Bing Bong and Zatanius both jump him at the same time. And they're all still inside of each other. Chams just losing out a little bit, but gets ahead of Bing Bong through the S's. It's very easy in the last chicane, or in not the last chicane, I apologise, in the S's to just run a little bit wide and compromise you through the entirety of the section. Dusky rocketing onto the back of Jack. Jack, I don't think, will hold on to that lead for much, much longer. And indeed, he runs very wide into the hairpin. Dusky is straight through into the lead. Lego, unfortunately, flipping at the start. And Dusky has taken the lead. Zatanius into 5th. Chams 6th. Bing Bong 7th. They're all still very, very close. Rabbit, meanwhile, is about half a lap behind. Probably will get lapped this race by the end of things. Rabbit actually pulls over. I think he might be having some more technical problems again. Nitrous into the pits. Bing Bong into the pits. Nitrous 113 into the pits. And Nitrous immediately leaves, unfortunately. I'm not really sure the rage quit was necessary from Nitros. He would have recovered there. It would have been a 7-second penalty, but that would have only dropped him to around 9th or 10th position in the end. A bit of a shame, but these things happen. Now that all the pits are happening, it's only really Zatanius and Chams battling for that 4th position currently. Phantom hits it into Digna too. Very good podium in round 1, but doesn't seem to be quite having the same luck for round number 2. Oh, Dusky makes an error. Jack back into the lead. Still only 7-8 tenths behind. And Jack will be in the lead on to lap number 5. Phantom tries to pit but hits it into the pit wall. Slows down for the pits, just about gets it slowed. Oh, in fact he has to go, unfortunately. That'll be another DNF going into lap number 5. Jack still defending from Dusky. Dusky is catching him up slowly. Dusky poking his nose into the lead. Dusky now into the lead. Unfortunately, the race is a little bit spread out. Zatanius and Chams are close, but not really in a position to make a move yet. And Terminator's managed to get himself completely stuck. Unfortunate for him, but always known for being a little bit of an idiot at times, and this is no exception. Oh, and Dusky makes another error into the end of the S's, crashes the CC wall, bounces off of it, and Jack is back into the lead. Gap's a little bigger this time. Zatanius and Chams battling over that final podium position. They haven't pit yet, so that may end up changing over. Zatanius down the inside, but Chams gets the exit. And Chams takes P3 for now. Reich's Terminator and Zenvo battling over P9 now, the final points position. Seems like Reich's might have made a bit of an error actually, because the gap went from 23.9 and 25.1 respectively to Reich's being behind Zenvo. And Rob and Josh get penalties into the pits. that would have helped Nitrous out had he decided not to leave. And Duskia has flipped. In fact, Duskia has come out just ahead of Lego now. That will leave Jack out with a monumental lead. Unfortunate race for Duskia. His pace is very good, but it kind of seems like making a few too many errors. Duskia keeping ahead of Lego for now. And Jack pits. 62, so no penalty for him. Duskia keeps on going. Lego, I think, clonked the wall a little bit there. Chams continues on to take the lead onto lap number 8. Right now in a phase of the race where everyone's just completing their pit windows. F. Josh himself has retired as well. A big retirement rate this race. Rabbit getting lapped once again. He is now 1 lap down this race. And yeah, right now the race has calmed down a little bit. Everyone in their own little bubbles pumping the laps in. We'll see where everyone feeds out once the pits happen. Obviously, keeping in mind the likes of Duskia and Chams and Lego have yet to pit. Jack is the leading car who has pit. 13 seconds behind the leader. 10 seconds behind Duskia. I think will end up being the driver to beat this race, even with his big errors this race. There is still just over 10 laps remaining of the race. Everyone can see each other right now, but no one is anywhere near a position to make an overtake. Chams and Duskia continue on. They will probably end up waiting right up until the end to pit. Which for Jack may, depending on how Jack drives, it could be either a really good motivation factor for him, or it could end up meaning he loses a lot of pace. Some people drive better under pressure, some people drive better when they have absolutely nothing to gain. Currently we only have 10 people remaining in the race, with F. Josh, Phantom and Nitrous all having retired and Louis having not started the race. Rabbit 1 lap down. Down into the back straight. Unfortunately, not a lot to really commentate on right now. The race has very much quietened down a bit. The closest battle we have right now is between Terminator and Rikes, and they have dropped back a bit. The gap was very close, about 6/10, but it seems to have spread out since then as Rikes just has a little bit more pace. Terminator running a little bit wide there. That will let Zenvo catch up to him. Chams remains in the lead. Duskia continuing to catch him just that little bit. Lego also catching a little bit. And Terminator nearly hitting the inside wall. Dusky, I think, made a slight error. But it doesn't seem to have lost him too much time. Everyone, once again, in their own little bubbles. The pit window obviously closes at the end of 17, so these front three will have to pit by then. But it seems like all three of them are very, very happy just to wait and let everyone else lap on their own. And then pit right at the end and see where they come out. Very good race so far from Chams. As I say that, he makes an error into the chicane that allows Dusky to catch up to him. Chams decides to pit. Very slidey into pits for Chams. 53.3, very, very safe. But that will be no penalty for him. Dusky will take the lead. Lego catching a little bit. The gap was 3.7, now 2.1 after a couple of laps. We'll see where Jack feeds out. Where Jack will jump Chams by a hell of a lot, and considering the gap between Chams and Dusky, that'll be about the gap to Dusky and Jack. Once again, another little error from Dusky. Didn't quite catch it on camera, but he's losing a little bit of time. That's not going to be ideal for him. Jack is actually catching him a little bit. The gap was about 15.7, is now 15.2. A pit stop around here I'd estimate is about 20 seconds or so, although I'm not certain. There is 8 laps remaining of the race. Bing Bong, Satanius and Chams close. The only person to not have pit so far is Dusky and Lego. In fact, Chams feeds out with Satanius and Bing Bong, so I'd estimate Dusky is going to actually come out around the point of Bing Bong at this point. Jack will be leading. Dusky probably about second or third at this point. We'll see where he ends up feeding out after he pits. This could be a very, very close race by the end of things. Dusky will probably continue. He does. Lego continues on. Bing Bong, Satanius and Chams actually remain very close. They've been close all race. Initially battling for P4, but what will now be looking to be about P2. Rikes is there. He's sort of within touching distance if people make major errors, but he will require just that, a major error to catch back up. The gap between Dusky and the highest placed pitter, Jack, is 16.5. That's about a second up, so Dusky will be closing in. Dusky will definitely place between Jack and Bing Bong at this point. Oh, Lego, massive bump on the back straight. Nearly does a front flip. Gap between Dusky and Lego remains about constant, 2.583 seconds. The gap to Dusky and Jack now is 17.4. Dusky is probably actually going to come out right inside of Jack at this point. 6 laps to go. Unfortunately, the camera of Zenvo isn't very good because his antlers stick through it. That's a bit irritating. Oh well. Oh, Terminator's made a bit of an error in the end of the S's. He hasn't really got anything to fight for right now, though. He's a good 9 seconds back on position 8 and is a lap ahead of Rabbit. Into the last chicane, Dusky once again continues. Closest battle on track right now really is Reichs, Zenvo and Rob, and even then they're about a second separated right now. Zenvo is so close to that wall. A really nice chicane there from Zenvo. He has caught at least half a second there. 2 Reichs. Looks like right now, Zenvo has the measure of Reichs, he just needs to actually overtake him. Bit deep though there, for him. Once again, he had a very good last lap, caught right up, but seems to be leaking that gap once again in the S's. Into the hairpin. Cham seems to have caught up on Bing Bong at the moment. Reichs and Zenvo side by side through the long right. And Lego Pits 67. That is good from him. We'll see where Jack ends up coming out in relation to Lego, and that will kind of tell us. That will tell us where Dusky will come out. Lego was about 3.5 seconds behind Dusky, and Jack will be about 2 seconds to 3 seconds ahead of Lego. Bing Bong has jumped Lego. This is... Chams has made an error into the first couple corners. Lego very close. Bing Bong not quite getting the time in the chicanes. Or in the S's even. The fight for the current podium position, final podium position. Lego very quick through there, taking a bit of a tighter line on entry, but it very much works for him. Lego just getting the exit on Bing Bong and will take P3. Through Spoon. Bing Bong gets a better exit, but Lego gets an overall better corner. Going on to 3 laps to go. Lego and Bing Bong battling for P3 at the moment. Lego just about ahead. Bing Bong just tucked in behind. Bing Bong a bit deep into there. Lego will gain a little bit of time. 3/10 is the gap between Lego and Bing Bong. I think from here it'll be a bit boring. Lego will pull away unless he makes an error. Bing Bong's so close to that corner cut ball. Bing Bong losing a lot of time there. Lego's now about a second ahead. And it seems like that is it for Bing Bong. Lego just has that bit of a pace advantage over him. Zenvo, meanwhile, Reichs and Zatanius battling over that 7th position. Zenvo just ahead. And Reichs will take the position, or keep the position from Zatanius. Zenvo a bit wide through there, Reichs keeping the line. And Duskia takes the lead from Jack. He had a very good last few laps. And now it is up. And now it is his race to lose. Even with those early errors. Duskia in the lead. With 2 laps to go, Duskia will lead the race. Lego and Bing Bong fighting over. Zenvo, Reichs and Zatanius also fighting over position. All going into the hairpin. Zenvo takes it very wide but gets the exit. Zatanius sort of takes a middle line and Reichs takes a very tight one. And Zenvo losing that a little bit. Reichs very, very wide. Zatanius and Zenvo inside of each other going through 130R. Through the last chicane. Zenvo very aggressive through there but gets the position. Reichs very wide. On to the last lap for these three. Duskia in the lead. Jack in second. Lego in third. Bing Bong in third. Jack running very wide. That's going to compromise him through here. Into the Degners for the final time. Up into the hairpin. Lego very good through the hairpin. Will gain a little bit. He's going to have a monumental last chicane if Lego wants to get P2 off of him. Meanwhile, the battle for P6 is also pretty strong at the moment. Into the last chicane. Duskia through it very easily. Will take the feature race victory. Into the last chicane. Will Lego go for it? He does, but it won't be enough in the end. Jack will take P2. Now for the fight for P6. Zatanius will get it, but I believe Zatanius has a penalty, which means he will lose out to Zenvo. Zertanius will drop 2 positions after that. From P6 down to P8. Zenvo promoted to 6th, Rikes promoted to 7th, and Terminator eventually will come to cross the line for 9th position. There you go, that is your Super Formula race. Thank you those who have watched, and I hope you have enjoyed. Your 2 winners from today's races are Lego Fan CY and Duskier. Fastest lap of that race was Duskier on a 38.2. And eventually Terminator will come to cross the line. There you go. Thank you everyone for watching.